All right, thank you guys for joining us here for our Zoom session number 9. We're on our Facebook Live on our Strive Schools exclusive group for a lot of teachers in Zoom. We've got our go-to Fall City and crew, and thank you guys for joining us. And Andy up at Axtell, thanks guys for being with us. And you can keep yourselves muted, and thumbs up are the best way. So thank you again. We're going to talk a lot about, I see you back there. We're going to talk a lot about Snapchat and Instagram today. I'm excited to share some kind of things that we're learning and how maybe you guys can apply some of those things in your own classroom. So I've shared a Google Doc, which you guys have, and we'll link up in our Facebook group. But just want to encourage and kind of challenge you guys to think about using those two platforms specifically in a digital media classroom. That's a majority of what you guys are using is Snapchat and Instagram, and so we really want you to think about how you could use it in your class to share to kind of target that audience, whereas Facebook and Twitter maybe are more for the parents, community, and alumni. We're seeing a shift with students consuming a lot of content on Instagram and Snapchat, specifically Snapchat. And really to think about your class and what you're doing digital media-wise as thinking about yourselves as a media company. And really, what does that mean? To me, that means creating content, lots of different types of content, and we focus on 4 different mediums, and that's audio, blog or written, photos, and video. So those are the 4 different mediums that we're focusing on, and how can you tell stories differently in each one of those mediums, and what are the strengths that you have in your class. So if you have a student that is really good at photography, don't make them go out and shoot video. That maybe you can incorporate some of that, but utilize the strengths that they have. If they're a really good writer, then we want to pair them up with writing interview questions or writing a full feature story and kind of pair that up. They could put that and apply that into a podcast or a video. And sometimes it's not always best to document the story in a video format. So be flexible in that and really think about yourselves as a media company and sharing your guys' school story on Instagram and Snapchat, which are fantastic platforms, and they're doing lots of different things, to encourage different ways. And so we're going to kind of run through that, and I'm going to go to my Google Doc here. So I've got lots of different notes here for you guys. We've got our Instagram, our Snapchat. Please follow us, and my personal one's on there as well. And so really identifying your target audience is key for this too. So when you're thinking about creating content for these platforms, you need to think about who you're kind of targeting. And so most likely on Instagram and Snapchat, it's going to be you guys, right? So I want to get a show of hands or a thumbs up. How many of you have an Instagram account? And are you consuming stories or scrolling through the feed more? Stories or feed? 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 Andy, how about you? Stories? Feed? Okay, cool. So we're kind of experimenting with that and kind of doing some different things. Oh, okay, I see that. Share that doc again there. We're kind of experimenting with stories and taking a written story and putting it in an Instagram story. We're doing that at our conference. We've had some really fun doing that. And Andy, you'll experience that at Heartland when you come. How many are, we're seeing some really neat things, conversations around Snapchat. How many are opening up Snapchat? That's the first app you open up in the morning to communicate. Can you give me a number? Can you do a quick poll in your classroom? How many out of how many are opening up Snapchat first? 4 out of what? 4 out of 10? 4 out of 8? This is so fun. So 4 out of 8. So half of you are opening up Snapchat. What's the other? Are you opening up Instagram or what's first? I can't read that. So 4 out of 8 Snapchat. All right, cool. So we're seeing that as well. We're seeing upwards of 90% students opening up Snapchat first. And so really want to encourage you guys and make you guys think about how you could create some content in your class. And so when I think of that, I think of, why don't you just go out and document what your students are doing while you guys are out sharing stories? So give people kind of behind the scenes look at you guys creating content at the games, streaming events, have fun with it. Maybe not all of you at Fall City will have access to this, but maybe some of you. We're in the business of creating digital leaders. And so we want to really give you guys opportunities to learn how to do this, because guess what? This is now a career. This career that I have, this job that I have created, was not in existence when I was your age in high school. So let that sink in, let you think about that a little bit. Now, brands and teams and the Huskers are hiring people to shoot video, to write social media content. Those are real jobs now, if that's something you're good and passionate about. And so we want to make things really short, what I call snackable content. So, you're scrolling through your feed and it catches your attention. And then provide value to your audience. So don't just post a photo that's, provides no value. Have some meaning behind it and create some value for your audience. All right, so when we think about Instagram, that the primary piece around information, or the primary goal with Instagram was, when it first started, was to share stories through images, right? And so if you are a good photographer and writer, Instagram is absolutely the perfect platform for you. And so Sarah linked up in our Google Doc Win Wiley, who's a very popular photographer in the Lincoln area. I think he's got, and Sarah's having trouble getting on Zoom, I think, but she's on Facebook. I think he's got over 1 million followers. And so he's just a local photographer. He uses natural light. He's doing some really neat things. And so Instagram is a great platform for you to utilize and show your strengths. So photos, how it kind of started, we use it for a lot of graphics. So I'm going to share my screen here a little bit and show you our Strive TV Instagram. Can all of you guys see that? Maybe if I made it a little bigger, that would be better. So this is our Strive TV Instagram, primarily posting sports content, but you can see a lot of this is Photoshop type stuff, except for maybe some game photos here that Austin has created. And so we do a podcast, so we're pulling quotes and putting some things around that. And if you notice, everything is in a square format. Rarely are we posting in a 16:9 horizontal look. It's all 1080 pixels by 1080 pixels. And maybe we can add, we'll add that in the Google Doc here. That's the primary pixel rate. So Fall City, you guys have Photoshop, right? Yeah, so if you guys want to, create some cool content, and we're using that same format on Twitter and Facebook too, because guess what? We're consuming and scrolling through this on a mobile device. It takes up more screen real estate than a 16:9, which would be a 1920 by 1080. So we're going 1080 by 1080, takes up more screen real estate. And there's companies out there that have done research around what engages you more. And so all this stuff that Austin is creating for us, all the Photoshop stuff you guys learned, is all 1080 by 1080. And you can see that might have been a little bit more square. And then we've got some video stuff here from our fall conference. So you can do up to 60 seconds. Which is great. And so this is from our fall conference that we did in Lincoln. And Austin kind of came up with a little template, time lapse, and then just a bunch of B-roll around this, so you guys can watch that. And so lots of different things. This is the galleries feature. So this came out, I think, earlier this year. But if you have Fall City and Excel, do you guys have yearbook staff taking photos at games? Right? So connect with them. They may have some awesome photos, and they maybe aren't sharing those, but you can help promote the yearbook for them through your class account. And so you can add up to 10 photos in this and video if you want. This is a really cool photo that Austin captured from that Northwest game. So I think he put like 4 or 5 there. And then we're doing score updates too. So I know some ADs are, Lance at York does a little bit of this. So we've got a little template, layer in the photo, and then we're posting this afterwards. This was from a conference softball tournament. And look for us this week, Thursday and Friday, the stuff that Austin's working on right now for state softball. He's creating some different score graphics. So we've got the school logos in there, and then capturing a photo, just kind of putting that in Photoshop in square format, upload them all into one gallery. So some neat stuff there. You guys can take a look at that. And so, yeah, we've got our podcast. We've got some video stuff down here. This is some clips from a longer form video. This is a neat thing we did with 9 days before softball started. So when you scroll through this on your phone, it looks like a continuous photo, and it spells out, it says 9 days. And so our theme was 9 days before the softball season started. And so you can see that. We got some good comments there from the Malcolm folks. This is a cool little video that I went out and just shot some B-roll of the first day of football practice, and then Austin edited and put some music to it, so watch that. And you can see kind of how the beat matches with some of the text and some of the cuts and edits. Really easy project to do for you guys in your classes. So that's video, 60 seconds in a square format galleries. Couple things you maybe noticed on here. So one of the things that we do exceptionally well, that I put a lot of emphasis on our team to do, is tagging. And we didn't on that. Yeah, we did on that one. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, this is a good one. So we're always going to tag these schools that are involved in this in either the caption or in the photo. So as you know, Instagram isn't a great tool to share or retweet like Facebook and Twitter are, but Instagram it's all mobile. And so anytime you can tag people, that helps with your organic reach. And then you'll notice we always are going to put hashtags. And so hashtags are huge for you when you're sharing stuff on Instagram. And you can look there, we put the Heartland Huskies hashtag, NEB Preps. Anytime we're doing sports type things, we're putting that. Sarah had some fun. Anytime you can add emojis or anything like that, I'm big into emojis, and adding those to the caption is fantastic. And so you can see Tessa Bridges then tagged 3 of the students that were at the conference. And then another student tagged a student that were there. And so they saw it and then tagged. That was their way of sharing it. And you guys know all this. I'm speaking to the teachers here and for the recording. But that's a great way to kind of get some more organic reach, get more people to see your stuff. So anytime you feature an athlete or anything like that, see if Austin tagged any of these guys. Tag the school there. It's hard on desktop to know if it's been tagged or not. That's how we've grown our following now. We used to be at like 700, and then all of a sudden last state basketball, we really put an emphasis on hashtags and tagging. And now Austin has been doing a lot of this stuff. We've got up to 1,300 followers, which has been exciting for us. So that's kind of Instagram. Any questions on Instagram or how you could use it in your classroom? Let's go ahead and pause if there are before I move on to Snapchat. Andy, I know you guys have Instagram. Fall City, do you guys have a school Instagram? No? Okay. So obviously you want to make sure Gail and everyone is okay with that. Check with your administration, but it's just a great way to share the content, share kind of behind the scenes, especially with Instagram stories. That's a great, I enjoy watching that. It's basically like Snapchat, but cool. Well, we'll move on if there aren't any questions. So Snapchat is probably one of the most unique apps that have come along since we've been in this, working with schools, and since my passion is around social media. And Snapchat is so unique. It's very raw and authentic, right? I'd love for the Fall City folks to unmute and tell me why you guys use Snapchat.
Why do you guys use Snapchat?
And speak up.
Question. Why do you use Snapchat?
Why is Snapchat so popular?
Are you unmuted?
Because
someone needs to unmute. Maybe Gail. There you go.
Why do you use Snapchat? Okay, I got a convenience.
Convenience.
Why does everyone else use Snapchat?
Because the filters, they're pretty cool.
They like the filters.
Filters. Okay. It's fast. It's quick.
Privacy,
It's easier to use.
easier to use.
Easy. Okay. What's the first thing that opens up when you open up Snapchat? What's the first thing that camera, right? So that's what I think is most unique about Snapchat is it immediately wants you to do something, create something, whether it's video or photo or put text on top of something. No other app, when you guys think about all the apps you use, is there any other app that does that? That the camera opens up first? I don't think there is. So I think that's what is so unique about Snapchat and why you guys, your generation is using that and why, I'm using it and lots of people are using it. You guys kind of hurt my percentages a little bit, but I put in there 90% of students say that Snapchat's the first app they open up in the morning. A lot of them say it's to keep their streaks alive, but I'd love to learn, those of you that do open it up, maybe you don't open it up first, but are using Snapchat, are using the Discover feature to consume news as well, like Bleacher Report, ESPN, MTV, BuzzFeed, any of those?
We had someone say all the time. Anyone else?
Yeah, looks like
Okay, all the time? Yeah, that's what we're learning too, is it's a great way, whether we like it or not, it is becoming a news source for a lot of people. How many in the room turn on the TV for the 10 o'clock news? Any of you students?
I don't watch news.
Don't watch the news, right? So we're consuming all that on the mobile device, and that's exactly what Instagram and Snapchat are. It's all mobile, and that's the future. And so what we're compelled, and our passion and mission is to teach you guys how to take those and create valuable content and be like a media company, right? So these are great apps to use. So one of the ways we're doing that is through Snapchat. We've kind of scaled down. We've kind of gone all in on our Instagram and seen really good engagement, but we do have a great following, Strive TV, Snapchat. But the best thing we've had success with is doing Snapchat takeovers. And so we're actually giving our username and password to student athletes or even students that are in our Strive classes, and they're documenting maybe a game day experience or doing snaps during game with score updates. And so we've done like 3 or 4 of them this fall. We want to do more of them. We'd love Fall City if you guys wanted to take over our Snapchat. We'd love Andy at Axel. We'd love if any of your students. We kind of want to create this community of students being digital leaders and creating positive messages and use our Snapchat account for that. And you guys could do the same thing at your school if you guys were to create maybe some type of student-led Snapchat account. Again, you need to get approval from your administration. I'm just kind of giving you some ideas to say, hey, Gail or Audrey, what if we created a student Snapchat account to do the announcements every morning? So when students are getting on Snapchat throughout the day, they actually know what's going on through the announcements. Or, hey, we're going on a field trip. Can we document what's happening? And so showing kind of the behind-the-scenes day in the life type of things through Snapchat is a great way. And so I've linked some examples, a sheet that we use because we want to make it educational. We want you guys to learn through this because companies are starting to create Snapchat-type content, and you guys need to be prepared. No one is teaching you guys how to use these apps. You guys are doing it all on your own, and we want to be that kind of thought leader and help you guys navigate that and help you guys create awesome, I just was at Twitter headquarters a couple weeks ago with a student from Grand Island that got nominated for an award for what he's doing online and being a digital leader. And he has created his own Snapchat account called Motivation Mitch. And so every day he's putting out a little snap to all of his followers. It's kind of what he calls his alter ego. And he's just creating positive messages through that Snapchat account. And you guys could do the same thing at your local high school just to promote positivity in the culture at Fall City and what you guys like about it. So lots of neat ways there. Geo filters would be the last thing we'll talk about. I've linked some examples there. Everyone know what a geo filter is on Snapchat? I think one of you said that's why you like Snapchat. So those are great for events. So let's say you have homecoming, which maybe already passed, or sporting events. So we do them at different games and things like that. Graduation, prom, any type of event happening at the school. You could do a paid one. So you go through the business section and you would log into your Snapchat account. So this is our Snapchat account, and I can go through all the different filters that we've created. So we do a lot of the state tournament stuff. So for state volleyball, we created this. And then you go in and draw a fence around the location on the map, and then take your PNG file that you create in Photoshop, upload that. We always like to put the location, and then Austin actually drew Pinnacle Bank and then put a map, and then we have a sponsor to help cover the costs. It cost us $80, and we got 23,000, almost 24,000 views of that Snapchat filter over state volleyball. So really good engagement. 419 uses, so almost half people that saw it used it, which is great. So if you have anybody that's interested in graphic design in your class, this is a great way to exercise that. A lot of schools are creating community filters too. So we know of a couple schools that have done that. Those are free, and those always are tagged around your school. And so you could put your Fall City Tigers logo or something, Fall City or Axtell Wildcats, and that would permanently be there, and that's free instead of paid like this for maybe a one-off event. And you could do something a little bit more creative. So those are just some ideas, things that we're doing on Snapchat in ways to kind of engage with this mobile-first generation that is really key. Oops. Any questions? I hope this works. Any questions from you guys? That's kind of all I had. The challenge for you guys is to see if your administration will let you create a class Instagram or Snapchat, probably more Instagram than Snapchat. But Andy said he's been shut down from Snapchat when he tries to create a school. Yes, we have experienced that as well. Many schools keep trying. Keep making little variations to your school logo. I know they're really picky about, especially if maybe a college or pro team uses a logo like yours. So keep trying to make variations, or just try text and not a logo. And so, you keep tweaking and see if you can get one. I know Milford's been having trouble getting theirs approved, and I think they finally did. By just making small little tweaks on I'm assuming, Andy, you're doing the community. I'll let you chat. It looks like are you in Kearney, Andy? Okay.
Yep, found it. Okay, so yeah, I've tried to do it just for the school that surrounds just our building and say the football field before.
Right.
And subtle little things. I mean, I've tried just the scratch marks for wildcat claws going through the middle of the screen or something like that, and I've been shut down every single time.
Right. Try just text.
Okay.
And see if it gets approved, and follow up and let us know in Slack, and let us know if you get approved, because other schools are going through the same thing. So I tried to do a community one too, and it never got approved, so I stopped, and we just kind of do these one-off events.
Yeah, it gets annoying if you keep trying, and then
Right.
it turns into it, and it takes a day or whatever to get back from Snapchat. But
Yep.
I just kind of space it off for now.
Yeah, and maybe that's something for other schools watching or listening that you can kind of task with some students, but to kind of follow up on. But it will go to your email that you have the Snapchat account set up on. And I don't know if that makes a difference either. All I know is that schools have had trouble, and we have a couple of schools that have gotten theirs through. So, but they kept trying, kept making little changes. So, cool, great conversation. We want to keep it going. These two apps, we believe, aren't going anywhere. They get a lot of traction. They're great ways to tell stories on a mobile device, which is what we're really focused on this year and the future of what Strive looks like. And we just want to keep encouraging you guys and helping educate you guys to prepare for the future of media, because these two apps are definitely in the front view in the next several years. So if you guys don't have any other questions, please feel free to get on Slack. I know we have someone that really wants to have us use a Zoom bot from Fall City, right? And I'm not sure exactly what that means or how that integrates in this Slack, but we'll do some research on that. I know you sent it to Sarah last week, so we'll check that out. Cool. So I'll go ahead and shut off the recording if I know how.